Aware of these conditions and fearful of the threat posed to families by wage-earning women, a coalition of middle-class women joined together to try to help women workers improve their lot. We've heard a little bit already about the New York Consumers League, which was founded in the 1880s and which grew into the National Consumers League. We know that its motives were those of trying to improve the conditions of retail sales clerks who didn't have seats, but also of the garment workers who made clothing themselves. Motives of these women were not entirely pure. For example, at the end of the 19th century, there was rampant fear of smallpox, a disease that spread rapidly and whose germs could be found on the clothing made in tenement housing and in overcrowded factories, whose garments would then spread the disease to the middle-class consumers who bought the clothing. Fear of smallpox encouraged consumers' leagues and others to think about ways of creating less crowding in the workplace and of making workers healthier. To identify products made under good working conditions, the National Consumers League cooperated with the trade union movement to attach a union label to all goods made in sanitary shops by well-treated workers. Those strategies worked well for a small segment of workers. But larger concern went into the conditions of improving workers on the whole. And here we need to turn to organizations like the Women's Trade Union League, founded in 1903 by William English Walling, a reformer, and Mary Kenny O'Sullivan, a trade unionist. Unlike the National Consumers League, the WTUL was founded by a combination of wage earners and middle-class people. Walling, the product of a rather well-off family, was committed to ameliorating the poor conditions of garment workers. O'Sullivan, a dressmaker, dropped out of the workforce to marry and have children. When her husband died, she decided to become active in the lives of other workers. Together, these two created the Women's Trade Union League with the notion that the only way for the condition of working women to improve was to organize wage-earning women into trade unions. Now, we've seen that men didn't want women in their trade unions. They feared that women's low wages would pull their own wages down. Most men, including Samuel Gompers, president of the American Federation of Labor, were convinced that women could never be organized, nor did he want to organize them. They were, in his eyes, temporary workers, not committed to the union project or to the labor force. They were therefore untrustworthy when it came to strikes. The founders of the Women's Trade Union League disagreed. Soliciting the help of women workers everywhere, they provided the organizational expertise and funds to unionize women and to persuade male leaders to admit them to their unions. Their biggest successes came in the garment trades. Joined by Elizabeth Christman and Agnes Nestor, glove makers, Rose Schneiderman, a cap maker, and Pauline Newman, a shirtwaist maker, as well as shoe stitcher Mary Anderson, who later became head of the Women's Bureau of the Department of Labor, as well as by a range of moneyed middle-class women, the Women's Trade Union League worked to organize working-class women. Recognizing that women would continue to work, they asked for some of the things that we now take for granted. They wanted an 8-hour day, a minimum wage for women in industry, opportunities for women's education, and above all, union recognition for women wage earners. Middle-class reformers and working-class women alike believed that once women could join unions like men, they would be in positions to defend their own self-interest.